Hello everyone, this is General Hand Grenade. Welcome to my war room in Prince George, British Columbia. What you're looking at here in the foreground is the vaunted Africa Corps. And you can see how they're all painted up nicely, and you might even recognize the handiwork because he does such a good job. This is from my friend and partner at the Young Grasshopper Invitational, Siredblood. Sired is a very talented not just painter, but he does all kinds of things. He makes all kinds of stuff. I was privileged to be in attendance and standing just a few feet away when he presented Larry Harris with one of his German battle boxes, you know, with has the dice trays inside and everything. And inside of that was Detroit's painted German pieces. And to see how moved Larry was amazing, because he couldn't believe how nice this thing was that Sired had made. Anyway, Sired, I think it was his 500 subscribers contest. He gave away 2 prizes, and this was one of the prizes. And I told him, I said, don't put me in, you know, I don't want people to think that we're cheating or something, you know, like giving each other prizes, like I'll have a contest and you'll win it, you know, like, you know, we can exchange stuff all we want. Like, we don't have to have a contest to do it. I mean, we're friends, right? But he threw me in the contest anyway, and lo and behold, he pulled out my name or number or whatever it was, and I'm happy about it. I mean, look at these things. They're just beautiful. So let's just take a look at what we have here. We've got the Air Force, and I put magnets on them yesterday. So just so I could put them on my flight stands. But there's 2 of the Henkel bombers. So let's just get these up nice and close here. Here, I'll grab it from on there. So yeah, he's got the decals on there and everything. He does a really, really nice job with his painting. So even though I didn't want a prize from him, I'll take these, boy. Especially, you've seen the video I made the other day, the global war that you're seeing in the background here. Like, you need a lot of pieces for this. And there is an Africa Corps, what do they call it, expansion set. And so all I'd have to do is download the rules. I mean, I have all the things here. The only other thing that was in that expansion set was markers so that you can see which your Africa Corps pieces were. But like, I can see what they are, right? I don't need those things. And I could buy the markers if I wanted to. But really all I'd need to do is download the rules for it. I've looked at them, and I might do that. I'll definitely try it. But the other thing that I could do is that, like I said, you need so many pieces for this game. And the reason that he wanted to give this set away originally was because people were getting confused, because these are the same kind of, like, brown is the same kind of color as the British and the Italians who are down in Africa already. So people were getting the pieces mixed up. So I need some of these pieces I need for the Italians, and it would save me a lot of money if I could just use, like, you need heavy tanks, right? And they need some mechanized infantry, so I could use these things here. And take a look at these. I could use these for the mechanized infantry if I decided to use them as Italians. I know you wouldn't like that, using Germans as Italians, but man, that would sure help me out. But you see the detail that he has, and you look at even the underside where you're not going to see, but that's mud. Like, he uses his airbrush and stuff, and he makes it look weathered. It's not just enough to have different colors on a piece. He likes to have them weathered. So that's the mechanized infantry. Here's the infantry, and the infantry, see if that's in focus. Anyway, the infantry is really, really nice too. Painted up beautifully. So if I did use these for Italians, there's something called black shirts. I didn't mention that in my video the other day. Let me just grab this token here. So they're a militia. They're like the Volkssturm, the German Volkssturm. So they're a militia that can be moved around within Italy, but not outside of Italy. So I could just put him on there and say that he's a black shirt. I don't know. Like I'm certainly going to try using these guys as Germans too. But like I could switch it up, right? I could do it one game. I could do one thing, and another game I could do another. That's the cool thing about this global war game, is that it's customizable. So then we've got some gorgeous. These would be medium tanks, I guess. But I love the detail on these historical board gaming tanks. And again, you can see the mud in the tracks there that Sired has painted in, and the mud on the bottom of the tank. Let's flip this around. Just beautiful. But yeah, it would be nice to own all historical board gaming pieces, wouldn't it? Instead of your Axis and Allies pieces. They're just, they're so much more detailed. There's the light tank, and you need light tanks in this game as well, so that's pretty neat. Like I couldn't have used this light tank if I was playing Axis and Allies, unless, of course, I decided to buy light tanks for everyone. You know, you can't just give one country light tanks and nobody else, right? Okay, so what else we got here? We got the artillery. We've got the wheels are painted black there. That's pretty cool. And the anti-aircraft, the 88s. So if I use these for Italians, one of the reasons I thought about doing that was because I need these pieces for mechanized infantry. There is no mechanized infantry available for Italy specifically. You need heavy tanks, and so we've got those. And then there's also advanced artillery, and so that's what I would use the anti-aircraft guns for, because the Italians already have their own anti-aircraft gun, and so I could use these 88s as advanced artillery if I decided to play a game using these as Italians. So what else we got? We've got the Stukas. Beautiful job. Yeah, it kind of makes you wish all your pieces were painted, but I don't have the patience or the eyesight anymore. I can barely see these. I mean, I've got my glasses on again, you know, but to see them well enough to paint them. There's the fighter. Beautiful. I notice there's another fighter here that's got the tips of the wings are painted white there. So that's a little bit different than the other ones. But yeah, even if I was to use the pieces that I wanted to for the Italians, I would still use the planes for the Germans. And they'd be the first planes I put on the board, of course, right? You know, like you've got a whole box full. These would definitely be the ones that I'd be using. We've got these. The dreaded Tiger tanks. So in the game, when they tell you what you need for the game, for an Italian heavy tank, this is what they tell you to use, as a Tiger tank. And so I was looking at having to buy some more of these. I've got Tiger tanks for the Germans already, but none for the Italians yet. And like if you get it up close like this, you can see that there's the German cross on there. But if it's down on the board down here, I mean, you can't see that. You can't see the German cross on there. But again, if you look closely, you can see the tires, or the tracks there. It's got the mud in them. Those aren't mistakes. He did that on purpose. Beautiful, beautiful job. Anyway, I feel so fortunate to have friends like him and friends like Detroit, who sent me some of his naval pieces there for the Americans and the Japanese. It's great to have good friends like that, and it's so fortunate that I got to go to that tournament in Toronto, so that I could meet all of these guys. I could meet Grasshopper and Detroit and Sired, and Sired and I had a great time. When we were supposed to meet in the airport in Toronto, and I don't know if you've ever been Pearson Airport in Toronto, but it's just enormous. And there's several buildings there, and we arrived in separate buildings, and so for us to find each other without phones would have been amazing, right? But his phone for some reason wasn't working in Canada. He could phone home, but he couldn't phone anyone in Canada, and he couldn't text anyone in Canada. So I'm walking around looking for him, and he's walking around, and hey, there you are. We happened to bump into each other at Pearson. And then it probably took us an hour to find our way out there. But anyway, that's just, so we got in the car and we drove down to Niagara Falls, and we just had a blast. The next day it was 30 degrees, which down in the States, your Fahrenheit would be somewhere close to 90. And not a breath of wind out and no clouds in the sky. And man, we had a good time going on that little boat down into Niagara Falls and right up to the falls, and doing all kinds of stuff, and playing a game that night in the hotel room where he played the Axis and I played the Allies, and he wasn't able to take Paris on the first turn, so we had to reset all the pieces. Okay, now don't do that again, and we started over again, and then we went into Toronto, and we went up to CN Tower, and we were walking down there, and there was all these Suburbans, like there must have been 20 black Suburbans, and all these motorcycle cops and everything. We couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. We knew it was some kind of foreign dignitary, but we didn't know what was going on. And it was happening right across the street from us. There was a big entourage, and they were getting out of these things and going into this fancy hotel. And we were later to learn that it was Prince Harry. That's who it was. He was there for the opening of the Invictus Games, which was going on right where we were standing. We were standing right outside the building where it was happening. And then we went up to CN Tower, and then of course we went to the Grasshopper Invitational and got to meet all those other great people and go to the tournament, and we came in second. We got our asses kicked in the finals by Fed by Ear Dread with Variance and Gargamel. Was that his name? No, it was Gargantua. I know his name. Anyway, so what a great time we had. But anyway, so fortunate to have friends like that, and so fortunate to be a part of that community where you could actually meet people like that. Like it's fun just talking to them online, but then when you actually get together with them, it's even that much more fun. And so getting this isn't all he sent me, by the way. When we were at the tournament, he won this map here that you see. Not this one, but I mean one just like it, right? One of the grand prizes, plus $1,000 from Historical Board Gaming. So Sired, he knew I was getting into this game, so he bought me a set of tokens, and I think it's like a $60 set of tokens. It's a base set kind of thing, and you need much more than that, but that gets you well on your way to getting the tokens that you need. So he sent me that too, and just in time for my birthday. My birthday's this week. And in return, I'm going to send him a bunch of stuff here. I'll show you. I've got a box of stuff here for him. And it's not done yet. I'm waiting for more stuff to come in the mail. But what I like to do whenever I get custom infantry is take out a set, like one of each of them, and send them to him. There's this one guy in here. I seen him on G.I. Joe's channel, and by the way, G.I. Joe's just got his 100th subscriber the other day. Congratulations. He's got one of the best channels out there, without a doubt. I love his channel, and he does his custom infantry. But I seen this guy on his channel when he let me try to get this guy in focus here. Anyway, this is an American guy, and he's got a mohawk. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe it's just my eyes. But this guy's gonna look great when he's painted up, when Sired paints him up, like you see these guys here. But he's gonna look even better. But anyway, I've got these things, and there's a bunch of them from a bunch of different countries, China and France, and I can't even remember all the other ones. What else we got here? China, France. Oh, some Aussies, and oh right, some more UK guys, yeah. But anyway, and then I've got something else, and I'm not telling them what it is. It's a pretty cool one. I'm sending that, and I'm waiting. I'm going to be sending all this stuff pretty quick. I'm just waiting for one more item to come in the mail from Shapeways. They're U.S. Army Jeeps. I'm pretty sure they're going to be the right size. They're 1/285 scale. And so I'm going to keep a bunch and I'm going to send him some. But they're just beautifully detailed. Like, you know, like this kind of detail on them, right? Just beautifully detailed. And so I'm sure they're going to look great once he paints them up too. And I'm tempted to send him also a paper clip and a stick of gum and some cheesecloth and some PVC pipe to see if he could MacGyver a battle box out of that or something, or a dice tower. Of course, if you made a dice tower out of it all, it would probably have a digital score clock on it, so you keep track of your casualties. Just the kind of person he is. Did you see his thing that he put out last week? His video with the flaming factories there and air bases and naval bases. He texted me that a while back. I don't know, a month ago or 6 weeks ago. Just that's just ridiculously cool. But anyway, that's the kind of guy he is. You know, he's like MacGyver. He just makes stuff. You know, and it's just the coolest stuff you've ever seen. And you know, he's not just a good painter. But anyway, the best thing about him though is he's a good friend, and him and I text each other quite often, and I call him or he calls me once in a while, and we talk, and he's a great person, and I'm thankful to him for sending me all this stuff. So that's my new Africa core, thanks to my good buddy Siredblood down in Los Angeles. Just before I go, I'll just show you, I haven't done much more to this on here. I was working on some of my player aids, like I was mentioning. I want to put those things on the wall. So that's a magnetic board. It came up just perfectly because they're just the right size. Then I bought magnets and put them on the roundels, you know, look, so you could see they can mark the tech chart, and they can mark the industrial production chart. And then I also put the magnets on the coasters there. That's the turn order for Global War. So that's kind of cool too. Anyway, thanks again, Siredblood. I'll see you again someday, buddy. And I'll send this stuff up as soon as your army jeeps come in. Take care, everyone. General Hand Grenade out.